Good morning, everybody. This is Kenny again with the Natural State Gardener and Homestead. It's April the 20th. We hadn't put a post out here in a few days, but today we're going to start our weekly garden tours, and today's our first weekly garden tour. I'm going to go around and show you how some of the things are coming up. Things are really getting pretty. It's a nice time of the year. So I'll show you how some of the things are looking, some of the things that we've done, and some of the things that maybe we want to do. So anyway, come along. Here, when we take a look here, we'll just turn it right around. Hold on. All right, I guess we'll start here in this little bed right here. This is a flower bed that we put in last fall. You've seen it before. These are the rattlesnake ferns that came out of the ground. See how they come out and they just flush out and spread. They are beautiful. There's a redbud tree that I would really love to move, but I heard you can't move redbuds. Maybe somebody can let me know if it's possible or not to move redbuds, especially this time of year. I'd love to. It's coming up in that bed, which is really not that bad of a place, but I'd like to have it more out into the yard, I think. Here we've planted some of our first annuals. These are sun patience. We've got them all along this edge here and also over here in this side of the yard. We set some out last year. They're absolutely gorgeous. They make big rounds about the size of basketballs, and they're just covered in blooms. So this whole corner here should be an orange this summer. Come over here to this side. This is just a little bed here that we're actually going to build a deck across here, I hope, at some point. Hoping we can find somebody that's willing to come build a deck for us. There's a nice hosta that's coming up, and actually I'd like to move some of these. They get a lot of sun during the middle of the day and on up into the afternoons. They get a lot of sun. They had more shade on them last year because we had some big azaleas and things in here that kept them shaded. This year it's not going to be so much, so we'll have to see. This here is a pretty little plant. It's a hydrangea, a limelight hydrangea. We've got several of these set out this year. That should have really pretty white blooms on it. Our sedum is really starting to take off and grow. You can see how our sedum is doing. There's our sunshine ligustrum. There's a Leland cypress. These are loropetalum. They come out with really pink blooms in the spring. And then over here in this bed, you can see we've got another rattlesnake fern coming. There's one here. You can see where our tulips, some bloomed, some did not. Those purple ones have bloomed for about a month and they finally gave up. But the rest of them haven't done much. And I apologize for the light. I know it's going to be real. There's a lot of, it's harsh light this morning. This is our gardenia that's not doing real well. We've got some gardenias in here. These are some of the golden, it's a golden cypress of some sort, and they're really pretty. Here are rug roses. You can see they're starting to take off and get a lot of buds on them. This is a Cinco de Mayo right here, and I'm not sure what it's going to do. I'm not even real sure what color it is. I don't see any buds on it yet. Here's the buds on our carpet roses. We've got two of those, and then this is a gosh, what do they call that? Here we go again with this old timers. Anyway, it's a really pretty white rose. Iceberg, that's what they call it, iceberg. Our cannas are coming out of the ground. And you can see, if you look down here in this bed, a lot of our lilies are starting to pop up. Not sure what all of them are. Guess we'll find out when they start blooming. There's our purple crepe myrtle that's coming on. It's going to be really nice this year. There's some more other rattlesnake ferns. We just set those out. Those are some that we harvested from the fall earlier. If you watched that earlier video, you saw where we harvested those. This is a little plant that we had left over from a landscape job. That is a candy corn spirea, and I'd like to have a couple more of those. I'm not sure where we're going to put them, but they are really, really handsome plants. We'll go around the side of the house. Our grass is coming on. We've got a lot of Bermuda and Zoysia that's starting to come out of the ground. As soon as the weather heats up, we're going to put some MSMA in the yard, kill all this early season grass, and really fertilize and get our Zoysia and Bermuda coming on. There's another rattlesnake fern we just set out. There's another, that is a crepe myrtle that came up in one of our flower pots, believe it or not, and I just stuck it in there. And we'll see how it grows. I think it should be purple too, so it will match the one on the other side of the house and also the one out in that center bed. So anyway, our come over here. Don't look at my nasty garage. Here's some of our tomato plants that we've got to set out in the ground this week. These are some that Christina grew from seed. They are really doing well. We've got some buds on them. We've got to change. We've got to pinch some of those off, and I'll show you what we do when we set those in the ground and how we trim them a little bit and cut them back some. Here's some more lilies coming up. Here's some of our first roses that started to bloom. These are our knockouts in a pink and a red. I don't know how come we got two different colors there. It should be one color, but there's two roses there. One's pink and one's red. This is some of our hibiscus we've saved these for 3 or 4 years. We've probably had them that long. We've got a bud coming out on this one, if you can see that. Then we have some more of our rattlesnake ferns. Here's our little pond project that we had, starting to come along real nice and fill in. Tulips, they're gone. We need to get those out and put something else in there. We've got some of the rattlesnake ferns scattered around. We've got some of the cypress scattered around. And then here are the frost the other night. I don't know if you saw the video or not, but we were out here like mad people, covering up everything for the frost that we had that came. The only thing that really got damaged that we've seen so far is this banana tree, but it's coming on back out. It's fine. Here's our pink knockouts, and these are gorgeous when they start blooming. Over here we've got a good ground cover of our creeping Jenny. We've got some hostas coming out of the ground, and I saw this morning there's another hosta right there that's just now starting to come out. Another one right there that's just now starting to come out, and these we're going to move because there's too much sunlight here. There is some cannies that we dug up from the farm and brought home. Those will come up and cover all this nice. Should cover this power pole right here, this meter on the side of the house. And over here, these are our climbing roses. If you watched the video we did back in January, you saw where we dug these up and eased them around this deck, and they have really bloomed this year. They've got more blooms on them right now than they have the last 2 years. If you'll take a climbing rose and if you'll turn the branches sideways and train them to go sideways, they'll shoot up little buds everywhere. You can see here if you get them to go, if they go straight up, you'll get 3 or 4 roses right on the very top. But if you turn them, if you'll turn your canes, these little things right here will shoot up off the side and they'll put a rose on every single one. You can see how many we've got here, and they are really pretty. It'll be nice this year. And unfortunately, my dog, Dixie, you've all met Dixie. We had one of the canes that went all the way around to here, and unfortunately she thought it would be good to eat, so she ate it. And so what we have left is right down here. But it'll continue to grow, and it'll go on before the end of the season. These are some more of the sun patience here in the bottom of this bed. This was all covered in elephant ears last year, and they were just entirely too big. They covered our whole deck. You couldn't see off the deck. So we dug these roses from out in the front yard. They didn't need to be in the front yard. We moved them back here and took the elephant ears out and scattered them all throughout the yard. And anyway, now we have a lot of sun here, so we have these sun patience. They will be pretty. Looks like our gladiolus are coming up. We got a whole thing of glads that came up from last year. Over here, here's one of my Japanese maples. This one is one that we bought last fall. It's really doing well. Our shade garden here, I'm really impressed with it this year. I think it's going to do really, really well. It's had a year to kind of settle in and start growing. Our hostas are great. Now these have been in here for several years. There's a nice hydrangea. There's some of our autumn ferns. Here's another hydrangea coming out of the ground. More autumn ferns. There's a little azalea tucked back there in the back. This tree here we've had for several years. This is one that my mother-in-law gave me years ago before we ever moved out of the house, and then moved back, and it's still here. So it has really done well. There's another little Japanese maple over here on this side. It's fortunate enough to have me a tiller this year, so I can keep this pretty well tilled up and looking good and keeping everything here. The soil aerated so everything will grow. This is a nice little Japanese maple. It does need a trimming, so we'll do some pruning on that. And then over here on this side of the house, we've got more hostas, we've got more hydrangeas. Crepe myrtle starting to come out really nice. And then this is a pretty rose. I've had this rose for several years. It's been here since before we moved as well. And it's come on real strong. It's got some pretty buds that are fixing to come out. So anyway, and then we have our more of our cannies here. These are red cannies. We got these off the side of the road too. Someone was throwing them away, so we dug up a few and brought them home. Actually, we didn't have to dig them out. They were just laying out. Here is a red, it's a Don Juan rose, and it has absolutely gorgeous red blooms on it when it blooms. This is the first year we've had it, but I've had them before, and they are gorgeous. Here's a little rose we got from the farm, dug out of a road ditch. It has little bitty small pink blooms on it, but they just fill in with pink blooms, but it's a one-time bloomer, and then it goes away. Butterfly bush here is coming on. So anyway, that's kind of a quick little version of what we've got going on right here close to the house. I'll keep you updated on some more. I've got some news to tell you too. I had some friends come by the other day that brought me some stuff, and I'm excited to tell you who they are. They're another YouTube channel. And go to her channel if you've not seen it. It's Honeybee, and she has a good little channel, so go by and see her. She brought us a whole bunch of hostas the other day, and we've set them out in another shade bed and shed garden that we've done. And I'll take you and show you that in another video. But right now, to keep from it getting so long, I'm going to go ahead and quit. Guys, like, subscribe to our channel. If you like what we've got going on here, if you don't like us, give us some ideas. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us what we're doing right. We welcome all comments. And sorry for the lawnmower. My neighbor's getting his yard mowed this morning, so got a little racket going on. But anyway, thanks again. Like, subscribe, share it with all your friends, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.